I've always been super healthy, active, involved in a lot of volunteering and just living like a normal life for a 25-year-old. I randomly coughed up blood, like a teaspoonful of blood. That's where everything started. It actually went from my mind. It could be lung cancer, but I discarded it because my age. So I do not fit the typical diagnostic pattern for it. And that's when he tells me, Camila, I'm sorry, but this is lung cancer. We found a tumor. It came back positive for non-small cell lung cancer. Not only being told it was lung cancer, but being told that I had 6 months to live. I was volunteering and I had come off the shift I was doing at the clinic. I felt a little bit tired, but I just put it to, that I was working, I was helping, I was washing patients, I was outside. During the night, I randomly coughed up blood. I hadn't had any other symptoms up to that point. I was shaking, and I was literally shaking from my mind and went, oh, this is not normal. I immediately called my mom, and I think I cried. I knew this was serious. I thought maybe, well, this could be COVID, or maybe this could be some kind of virus or bacteria. It felt so surreal. It didn't feel like it was my blood. I felt like I wasn't in my body that time. Like I was observing it from another realm. We had to rush to find the nearest doctor, someone that could give me an order for an x-ray, a chest x-ray, to see what it was. When I went in to get the x-ray, the order, well, that's when chaos started for me and the whole age discrimination, because the doctor thought that I probably just hurt my mouth, like maybe brushing my teeth or something, or maybe it was some kind of gastritis. Primary care doctor, and he read the results, and there it was a small 4-centimeter nodule, and he was like, listen, you need to go to a pneumologist so you get evaluated. I go to the pneumologist, and that's when he orders a chest CT, and it's still, well, the mass is still there. He didn't think it was a tumor, so he started putting me on different treatments and antibiotics. I ended up losing my hair, developing serious symptoms because I was allergic to that medication. I still am. It was horrible because it was this back and forth trying to prove myself to find a diagnosis and get the right treatment. In all that time, a year went by. So everything started at 24. When I was 24, what helped me most was my knowledge. I had already finished a master's degree that was like the equivalent of a first year of medical school. So that knowledge helped me to keep researching. Every time that I would go into my doctor's appointment, I would bring him new things. I would ask him, oh, doctor, but don't you think it might be this? Questioning results. One time he made me take some samples, some sputum samples. Sometimes they use them too. So they came back contaminated with a lot of bacteria that were normal. From my knowledge, they weren't normal. They were usually stuck in hospitals, and at that time I haven't been in a hospital, and I would question him like, hey, this is usually like a pathogen that's usually located in hospitals. I haven't been in a hospital. Do you think this might have been contaminated? I don't think we're going in the right direction here, especially when the imaging came back. Hey, the radiologist is saying that this grew from 4 centimeters to 6. Shouldn't we be alarmed? So I would constantly be trying to plant the direction he should take, but unfortunately he did it most of the time. Listen, thankfully my mom stepped in for me, and that was key because I was so exhausted by the time that I had the PET scan that I was just not in the right space to deal with so much. After my mom questioned my pneumologist and asked him to give me an order for a PET scan, PET scan came back positive. and it's still it lit up like a Christmas tree. Even then, they didn't believe it was lung cancer. They thought it was some kind of pneumonia, like a fungus. We had to pay that PET scan out of pocket because the doctor wrote the note incorrectly and all the diagnosis codes. And back then, it was still during COVID when we were transitioning back, so it was horrible just to find somebody that could do things for you. It started to develop the strength to raise my voice because if you hear me now, I'm really soft spoken and I'm a passive person. I'm like, so it was so out of character for me to speak up and to challenge. Nowadays, right now, it's my strength. It has become a strength. We find this thoracic surgeon. He decides to operate on me. He tells me, this is like probably 99.9% is not cancer, and only like 0.1% that it is. When I go in for the surgery, everything went well, come back, and that's when he tells me, Camila, I'm sorry, but this is lung cancer. And we also think you might have metastatic cancer. Maybe it spread. But I was relieved at that point because I already had a diagnosis, but I didn't know it would cost so much to get there, and that I struggled so much. People labeled me as crazy or wanting to seek attention or anxious, or maybe because my medical background, it was induced by my anxiety or my studies. It was shocking at first because I felt like I was pushed into an entirely different dimension. No, it was new for me. I was the first in my family to ever get cancer. The word cancer, we heard it for the first time that day that I was diagnosed by accident, I think. And not only being told it was lung cancer, but being told that I had 6 months to live because they thought it was, it had spread to other places on my body. The only way I could have wrapped all this huge mess and accept what I was going through was through therapy and faith. I've been with a therapist since day one. Managing cancer as a multi-system disease has been the key. What I mean by this is that I take care of my whole body and mind and spirit so I can be able to heal, because cancer affects everything in your life, your social, the psychological aspects, and your body. Having somebody tell me that it was okay to feel the way I was feeling, because I had a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, sadness. It was a really dark place. I didn't want to even move from my bed the first months I was going for chemo. Hobbies, I love to read, especially fantasy books and dystopian books. I'm a huge fan of the Hunger Games, and having my family, my dad, he would sit down with me and watch TV till I would come down, and we would watch documentaries. I had a lot of things that even if they were small, I could look up to them. And connecting with a few friends that have stayed with me since day one. My psychiatrist say on the day-to-day, that's like taking everything one day at a time. It's the only thing that works for me. If I start looking to the future, like that's when I notice that things get shaky and I might get irritated or angry or sad. So one day at a time. That's my motto. It started as stage 2. So the first surgery, since it was an accidental finding, they were just able to take out the part of the lung where the tumor was, and they didn't leave plain borders or clear margins like in the cancer world. It's just so I had to go in for another surgery 3 months later and have the right upper lobe of my right lung removed. First surgery was in September of 2022. Then in December of 2022, I had the second surgery. I spent Christmas in the hospital for that one. And after that, on January 2023, I start with my first chemo cycles From January to April, I had 4 cycles of chemo and immunotherapy. So that immunotherapy failed because my marker was not compatible with that treatment. I was just put in a regimen that was normally used for that stage disease on non-small cell lung cancer. Since I'm KRAS, he told me there's no like targeted therapy. So they considered my lung cancer to be non-actionable. So I only lasted in remission for 8 months. And the coughing of blood started up again. That was mind-blowing because it's like if she deleted my whole medical history from her brain, or at least didn't look at the screen. My oncologist didn't think it was cancer. I went through a bronchoscopy. I went through more scans. I actually had my blood sequenced for the first time with the next generation sequencing. So they ran my genetic tests. I had never had that done before. And that's when my oncologist found the other target, and we found out that my PD-L1 was low. When I find my new team, thanks to my new neurologist, I learned what a bronchoscopy was. I never went through that before. And then I found a new oncologist. That's when I learned that it was like oligometastatic. So that means that it's still inside the lungs, but it's not in other parts of the body, right? Which is the weird thing for lung cancer. Usually lung cancer spreads fast. Thank God. It still has been controlled. Right now, there's no cancer cells in my body. So I'm in remission. In that point, the second time, that was when I was put in like stage 4, but it's because they haven't been able to put me inside a box because my case has been so strange. I never had a chemo port until my second time. So it was never offered that or fertility preservation. My first oncologist said that wasn't necessary, that saving my life was a priority. So right now I don't know if I'll be able to have kids because of that. So after they placed my chemo port for the first time, that's when I start my 6 cycles of chemo. This chemo was intense. Like he wanted to go as strong as he could and aggressive. And that's when I lost my hair again completely, but this time it was like I lost my eyebrows, my eyelashes, and my nose hairs, every single hair of my body. It was really intense because it was 6 cycles, every 21 days, 1 cycle, and I had a lot of side effects. I gained a lot of weight, which I'm still trying to lose. I went through radiotherapy, SBRT, 5 high intensity sessions before chemo, and that's what I think made the chemo actually harder than it had to be. I think because I had so much radiation that even though it was just 5 sessions, the amount of radiation was high. It's high, intense, and short. After the chemo, I started what I'm now currently on, which is the targeted therapy. It actually just targets the blood vessels of the tumors so they can break. They break and the tumor dies. So that's where I am now. I still, every 21 days, I get my maintenance therapy, and there's no evidence of disease. I believe we have the brightest minds available here. So I wanted to complete my treatment here. So because, one, I didn't have the means. Right now I'm on Medicaid because it's the best coverage that for cancer patients we can actually have. The coverage that we have is complete. We mostly get everything covered. We still have to fight for some things. Puerto Rico is a little bit behind in the ways the system operates, communication between across the island. I'm from the south of the island. All my doctors are in the north. So I travel about 1 hour and a half to get my treatment over there. Mostly the biggest problem here is dealing with the insurance companies and with the medical personnel that has not been trained to handle how to process my healthcare plan coverage. My case is so unique because I started off being 25 years old. So even when I was going to get treated. I would face bumps because people would not believe me because of my age. And the fact that for my first diagnosis, my chemo did not cause my hair to fall out. I had to fight with the image people have of how a cancer patient should look versus how a real cancer patient looks. It was harder to manage the system, and it's still harder to manage the system than to manage the disease itself and the symptoms, which for me was soul crushing because I was so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I didn't know I would face so much trouble. I thought the cancer in itself was a big word and everything would be easy and everything would be open for you. And no, when I got my first chemo, my plan, you're supposed to not have to pay any deductibles on any treatment. So I receive a call from the pharmacy that's going to dispense my meds. They call you. I joke with my mom, oh mom, this is worse than a boyfriend. They call you almost every day. They wanted to charge me $35 just as a deductible for my meds, and I was like, what? I think I was really tired that day. I don't know what came over me. Or I think I was in pain because it was so close to my second surgery. I was like, no, I'm a cancer patient. I don't have money to pay you, and I'm not going to pay you $35. You're not going to charge me that amount. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, fine. Well, we won't charge you. I don't know how I phrased it, that the person just gave up and they didn't charge me anymore. But I know people who have to pay over $5,000 a month. People are used to get stepped on so much that they stop fighting and they let the system overpower them, and that's what's happening in Puerto Rico, sadly. It's not that we don't have the resources, it's that we have a system that is oppressing its patients. Extremely isolating. I am a homebody. I like to stay home, and I'm not having somebody you can relate to, not having somebody that you see that looks like you on a screen or in the media, or it's been hard because I didn't know how to navigate the road. I didn't have a map. I am grateful that I have the best support system in the world, and my parents and my family and my closest friends, a few. Most of us go through a period where everybody leaves. It was frustrating. It still is, because I had to put a lot of things on hold. I couldn't finish. I haven't been able to finish my studies in medicine. I feel like I'm 10 years behind everybody else. The only thing that helped me was the online community. It's been so welcoming, so receiving. I still find my little angels, as I call them, have been so kind and looked after me. It doesn't feel real, especially for the type of cancer that I have. Lung cancer is the #1 cancer killer. When I first read about it, saw that 5-year survival rate at 20%, I was like, I don't even know how much I'm gonna last. Fast forward to now, haven't been able to survive and to be as healthy as I am. It just is unreal, and sometimes it gets heavy on me because I get a lot of survival guilt, because I've seen a lot of people pass away, unfortunately. Just grateful for every day, and I know that this disease isn't gonna knock me down or take me out. Well, my why is that I don't want anybody else to go through the hell that I've gone through. Basically, I want to be the face for the boys that people could see and listen to know that they're not alone. I was made to feel like I wasn't important, like I was another number, another just simple case file. Seeing people tell me that they feel calmer because they have been recently diagnosed with lung cancer, and my story touched them, and now they feel at peace that everything is going to go well. That's one of the comments I received like last week. To hearing people that thanked me for sharing my story because they didn't feel alone. For example, losing their young daughter to cancer because people didn't listen to her. And to see people from other countries, from Venezuela. I have a doctor that I'm trying to help her get her meds because she doesn't have access to her meds because of the earthquakes right now. She has lung cancer too, and I never thought I would reach other countries like Mexico, Spain, Venezuela. It feels like a full circle moment. That's part of the legacy that I want to leave. If something were to happen to me, I would like to leave photos, videos that people could go back and listen to, like, hey, I'm gonna try because she tried, or hey, I'm gonna keep fighting because it's possible. She did it, so I can do it too. I've been trying to forcefully force myself into coming back to life again, as I put it, because I lost my spark. I'm trying to get back to it again. It feels amazing just being able to drive again, even if I go to the grocery store or just to fill up my car's gas tank. Just the stupid little things that's what brought me the most joy. Study wise, I applied again to medicine here back in Puerto Rico. I am currently waitlisted at a medical school, praying I get in and I can start in August. It's been an uphill battle for me, trying to break that glass ceiling and make people see the truth and the reality that people like me exist. It's my driving factor right now because it lit a fire inside me. I fight for everything now. I can feel the frustrations as a patient, and I can connect to other people, to other patients in that way, in ways I couldn't do before I was diagnosed with cancer. In the cancer world, only another cancer patient feels and knows what a cancer patient goes through. That's my why. I believe in being a doctor that not only treats but facilitates, especially in cancer and oncology. I don't want my patients to struggle so much dealing with their health care plan. And now I have the tools to fight that. Recently, my dad got diagnosed with prostate cancer. If I hadn't known from my experience how to navigate the healthcare system, I don't know what would happen with him. And that's what makes me not want to give up, even if schools make it difficult for me, even if academia is not ready for me or medicine is not ready for me. I know I have to do this. I know I have to continue to work as hard as I can, even if it costs me. If I'm alive today, I want to make it count and I want to make it worth it. I have to get back what I've learned. I hope that whoever watches this leaves with more peace and with a little bit of spark in them, So that's what I want to do. I just want to inspire people and help them.